Hey everyone, this is Deepak and welcome back to this short video that I promised as a part of my LinkedIn poll to do. Now this is really interesting because I ran a poll and this for us was by far the largest number of vote that we got, and let me just kind of walk you through the results of this. So the vote that we requested or did was, do you think LinkedIn is saturated for business prospecting? That's the question I asked because I was having a meeting with one of the advisors we are helping who is managing a large book. He asked that question and I felt, you know what, I've heard that enough times, so let me find out what people are saying. So here's what we found. As you see here, almost 51% of people are saying that they believe, and most of these people, so again, just to give you perspective, we got 192 votes, largest I've received for my vote. And most of them were financial advisors because that's the platform I have on LinkedIn. 51% people said that LinkedIn is saturated. And then 37% people said that LinkedIn is saturated but it can still work. And then 12% people said that it is not saturated. Okay, so let's talk about this whole thing because what I want to cover now in this video is to just give you my perspective, because we have been using LinkedIn for the last 3 years. We have been helping many advisors, like over 400 now, and we have found a perspective. So our perspective is important because we see every single day, right? It's coming from the reality of what we do and what we have seen. And this is interesting because 51% advisors think that LinkedIn is saturated, which there is some truth to it as well. So here's my take on this. So if you're curious on what I think and how would I vote this, so I would go with the last option, which is maybe it is saturated, but it can still work. So that's kind of my answer. And I want to give you some perspective in this video as to why I think so and what are the things that we are seeing. So first of all, there is a lot of noise out there. So this whole idea of saturation, there is some element of truth, simply because if you look into it, let's say if you're a financial advisor, there are many financial advisors that are out there that are trying to use LinkedIn as a platform, right? Companies have approved the platform and they're kind of encouraging advisors. So to start off with, you have every advisor now on LinkedIn trying to do pretty much the same thing. So in that terms, yes, it is saturated. Okay, so there's no denying of it. So that's one part of it, right? That it is saturated from that standpoint. But let's go back to the second point as to how can it still work. That's the most important thing, right? That's kind of what matters, and that's what you care about. So if you're thinking about how do you make it work and what can you do to not be part of the saturation and create uniqueness. So the three really important things. Number one is you want to be very, very strategic about who you are reaching out to. So as you see here, the search that Sales Navigator offers really is powerful. Now again, this is not like a secret. This was there for a long time, but I've seen people still not using it correctly. They're still not thinking correctly and deeply about who they should reach out to. And what we have found is when you really give some thought process by looking at your existing client set, looking at your past successes that you've had, and then trying to come here to LinkedIn and finding more people is when you would have success. So for example, if you're looking for a retirement client, and if you happen to help many retirement clients that, let's say, happens to be in technology industry, and within that space they may have certain titles. So trying to do the analysis on your CRM first and then coming to LinkedIn really can help you. So that's number one. Number two, this is like the most important thing, right? How can you start to be human in your conversation? There really is no bot. People who are doing automation are kind of lazy, and they're kind of using efficiency as the excuse for being lazy. They don't want to spend that 15 minutes that it takes to invite people or even message them. They're using canned messages. They're trying to play the numbers game. And that party is over like 2 years back. So you need to learn how to be human. So what we see consistently, I see it all the time. There's no shortage of marketing companies or coaching companies like us and training companies like us or client acquisition companies like us for financial advisors. But you have to cut through the noise. And how do you do that? By the one simple thing I know is by being human, by creating the the communication that you need to talk to somebody. And you can't be doing pep talks, you can't be just giving them education. You really have to ask good questions. And there's a whole process. We have a proprietary method called conversation stream that I created and built and perfecting every single day. And that is when people start to respond to you. And when they start to respond to you, you're starting to get out of the saturation zone. And very quickly, you find for some people that you're talking to and having meaningful conversations, you're going to be the only advisor that they know of, right? So you just need to get through that part first. And the third thing is you need to build a platform which is with some content. You don't need to be heavy content, but even if you do one posting a week, which literally takes you like 2 minutes, make it original. Don't use any company service that is provided to post those generic posting articles and stuff like that. And I think advisors are really at a disadvantage because the companies are kind of, giving them this capability to post content. They're almost telling them to post content, and it just makes them look like each other. So doing original content would help. But the second piece that I told you is like by far the biggest driver of getting appointments and getting clients. So just to wrap up this video, LinkedIn is getting saturated and it has been saturated. However, it is still one of the best platforms when it comes to prospecting because the data on LinkedIn is very accurate and clean. So if you can use the data via search and via messaging and you start to use the information, create that personal human connections, you are going to be able to drive a lot of business and a lot of client and also build a platform that allows you to have this amazing business that you want to build. So I'm very optimistic, as you can tell, about LinkedIn, and I hope this gives you some insight. If you have any questions, if you're financial advisors, then do reach out, message me or go to our website, and we'll be happy to help you and answer any questions you have. So again, thanks for watching this video. Hope you found some insight from this. Thanks.